Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing this evening? It is 3:58 a.m. on this Saturday evening going into Sunday. It is 39 degrees outside and raining. It's very cold. And it is definitely Christmas weather in Indianapolis. This is kind of, I always hope for a white Christmas, but this is pretty much what Christmas is like in Indianapolis. Rainy, cold, wet. Sometimes we get some sleet and ice. Sometimes we get a little bit of snow around, like the week before or something, you know, but like just a dusting. We don't usually get enough that it sticks. I always dream of like a blizzard, so that we can't, you know, that we have to like stay inside together as a family for like 3 days. I think that would be so much fun. Just watching movies and making food and drinking hot chocolate and coffee and stuff. Don't you think that would be so much fun? Like the long winter in Little House on the Prairie. I used to think that I had read a lot of those books, but I think I just read, maybe I did read the series. I feel like a while ago, like I reread the series and I read a lot of them in a row, but maybe I just read, I think the first one is The Little House. First one's The Little House in the Big Woods, I think. The second one is Little House on the Prairie, and the third one's The Long Winter, I think. I could be wrong. But I think I only read to The Long Winter and then I stopped, because it wasn't really like, I remembered watching like an episode of Little House on the Prairie early on when Mr. Edwards came and brought them Christmas presents and they were snowed in. Do you guys remember that? I think they thought he was Santa Claus. That was like one of my favorite episodes of Little House on the Prairie ever. I think it was like a Christmas episode. I used to love that show so much. Oh my God, my mom and I would watch it every night when we were eating dinner. Loved Little House on the Prairie. It was so homey. We would watch the Waltons, and my mom and I would always say, "Good night, John Boy." When I was doing live streams for a long time, I used to say that before I would say, "Good night, John Boy," to everyone. What was Jim Bob, or whatever his name was on there. I haven't done a live stream other than for the book club in a really long time. I should do one this week. That would be kind of fun. How are you guys doing today, this evening, this morning, whenever you are watching this vlog? I had a good day today. Very lazy day. Well, lazy evening, I should say. I slept, you know, last night, so I got up today and vlogged for the night before. And then I just remembered I forgot to take my medicine. I need to take that as soon as I get home. And then, let me just tell you what getting out of the house to vlog was like tonight. So I was like doing some of this magic gratitude stuff from the Rhonda Byrne book that we're doing for Peterisms. And so I was sitting at the computer and I was doing some of that kind of stuff, and I was kind of making a list of some things that I want to do tomorrow. And then I looked at the clock on the computer and it was like 3:20, and I was like, okay, I need to get out of here. So, because I like to drive around for like 10 or 15 minutes and listen to some music and stuff to kind of like, you know, get into the mood to vlog. And so I went into the kitchen because I had this water out here, but I didn't know like how much it was in it. I guess there is kind of some in it still. And it's raining, so I didn't want to go outside because I had already taken the dogs outside. They did not want to be out there in the rain at all. They were all cozy in bed, and then I had to take them outside to go potty before I left. And so, well, I took them outside, and then I started working on the magic stuff. It was like about making, like, today we were supposed to make a list of like the 10 things we desire most in the world. And it was about being grateful for them before you receive them. So it's like the act of practicing gratitude. So there was like a follow-up thing that you like could do with it, and I was doing that. And then I was making a list of like cameos that I have to do tomorrow that I want to do, and just like other stuff that I want to do. And so when I got done with everything, I always try to like get my computer set up so that I can like upload my vlog so that it's ready to go. So I get it all prepared so that when the vlog is like rendered, I can just like upload it. And then, because usually on Sundays we go to brunch, that way it can upload while we're at brunch. And so anyway, I did all that, and then I closed the computer and I walked into the kitchen, and I filled up this cup that I have that I bought from Etsy called True Crime and Coffee. Did I say called? It says True Crime and Coffee on it. And as I was turning, I had it in my hand with the lid off, and as I was turning away from the refrigerator and closing the refrigerator door with this hand, it knocked this like elbow, and so this water, like this much of it, like the top fourth of it or third of it, just like went shooting across the kitchen, like all across my new candles that I have on my little island there, and onto the floor. It soaked the floor. And that is something that like 5 or 10 years ago, that would have completely stressed me out, and I'd been like, I'm not going to vlog now. I would have just really let that like eat me alive. But it's funny because, you know, like in practicing peace and serenity and just like staying calm and stuff, I know it sounds like nothing, right? But I was the epitome of somebody that like, not cried over spilt milk, but got very upset like over stupid stuff like that, you know? And I just don't really have it in me today. I just don't really get that upset about that stuff anymore. So I just was like, okay, clean this up. And I like cussed. And then I sweared. I did swears. And then, but I even try to watch that anymore and not like say swear words, even if it's just to myself. I think that's something that I've really tried to watch the last couple years. I used to cuss like a sailor, and I used to think it was real funny. I don't know like how it got started. Well, my dad cusses a lot, so, I mean, and my mom didn't, and so, like, it was really funny, like, if my mom would say, it wasn't funny, but, like, she saved it, so you, like, really knew, you know, and, but, like, the two that she hated were GD and JC, because, you know, like, her religious faith, and so in the kitchen tonight, I was like, I said the GD, you know, and then I was like, oh, I'm sorry, and so it's so funny, like, how I've worked on this stuff, like, I don't know, my mom used to teach me, she would say, you know, because she would say, I think it's you being in the rooms of recovery a lot, because a lot of people in recoveries, they cuss a lot, you know, and I still do, but she would say, I think it's from you, like, being around all those old guys in recovery, and she'd say, you know, when you cuss a lot, people stop hearing what you're saying, and they only hear how you're saying it. And at first when she said that to me, I was like, yeah, whatever, you know? And then over time, like, I would think about that, like, when I would be around somebody that cussed a lot, and it was almost kind of like, you know, somebody that, like, cusses, like, literally, it's like every third sentence. Like, if you've been around somebody like that, it's really off-putting, honestly. I mean, it really, really is. And I started thinking about it, and I was like, I don't want to be somebody that is known for speaking that way. Like, it's not funny, it's not eloquent. You know, I think you can get across what you're trying to say so much better without using a lot of cuss words. I don't mind them. Like, I think it, you know, I mean, obviously I cuss, but I probably cuss more than the average person, which is why I've been working on it. So, I tend to cuss the most probably when I'm with Tanya, which is funny. I don't know why. And she's not a cusser. Tanya just really isn't that much of a cusser. What are we talking about? Like, this is stupid. Anyway, so I cussed and then cleaned up this mess in the kitchen with a towel. It was all over everywhere. And then filled up my water again, which I was meaning to take my medicine, which is why I just realized I forgot to take my medicine. my epilepsy medicine. So, I got my stuff, and then I went out to the car, and I left to go vlog, and it was so cold walking out in the rain. I literally have on like these Champion sweat shorts and a t-shirt and Birkenstock sandals. So I got like halfway down to like the main street out of the neighborhood, and I was like over here, like, and I was like, oh my God, I forgot my phone. So I had to go back because I always put my phone in the same place, like on the seat over here. So, or I put it in the drink thing right here. That's the two places that I put it. It wasn't there. So it's like, oh my gosh. I have to go all the way back and get my phone. It wasn't that. These are like the deep problems of my life, right? So I went back and got the phone. And when I went back inside, Tucker woke up. So he comes barking down the stairs, and he's such a barker. He's so loud. He's like, oh. I was like, Tucker, I literally was just here a minute ago, buddy. And he just kind of looked at me. He was so sweet. And then went in, got my phone. It was sitting in I put it in the kitchen because I was drying everything off, you know, from the water. But this is so stupid. Why am I even telling this story? So anyway, this is just my life, I guess. But, and then I like was walking out, and Boo Radley came down the stairs. He's so cute. He's like half asleep, and he's looking at me like, Dad, what's going on? And I said, you guys go back up to sleep. Go upstairs and sleep with your dad. Go upstairs and sleep with your daddy. And so they turned and they walked upstairs. They're so cute. They are so cute. They slept all night long. We literally did nothing tonight. I had been around the house all day. So Alex went to brunch with a girlfriend of his, and she's the one that recently got married, that we went to the wedding. He officiated the wedding. And then, so the woman that we're friends with, our friend that I went to the wedding with, she and her husband, and took them. She was in a car accident this week, so they went over there afterwards to stop that. And this was all like while I was vlogging and stuff. They went over there to just like check in on her and see how she was doing and stuff. And they stayed over there for like the better part of the afternoon. While I was making videos at home, like I did a review video on my way home. So I did my vlog, and then I did a review video at Dunkin' Donuts, and then I came home, and I had already had my Peterson's video up, or done. So I just had to do a drama video. So I was getting all that stuff up and putting it up, and he was over there, and so by the time that he was getting ready to come home, I had been sitting at home for like 3 hours, and I was so bored. It's so funny because I wanted to turn on a Christmas movie, and there was like nothing that I wanted to watch, and I've been wanting to watch the remake of that horror movie, that scary movie, Black Christmas, I think it's called. So I turned it on, and like almost the whole movie played, and I didn't pay any attention to it except for like the first 3 or 4 minutes of it at the beginning, and not even really that. So I don't know, the whole movie played in the background. I had no clue what was going on. I was just like doing stuff around the house. I was cleaning the kitchen and sorting through books and stuff like that. But anyway, so I got all that stuff done. So then he was like getting ready to come home in just a little bit, and I was like, well, I gotta get out of this house. I've been at this house, I feel like I have cabin fever. I've been like at this house all day. So I was gonna go see Tanya, but she had just gotten home and she was tired. No, actually she didn't answer. I drove by her house and her car was there. But like she didn't answer when she got home, so it was like right after like the kennel closed, so I assumed she had just gotten home. I talked to her later and she said she had just gotten home and she was tired. So I was like wanting something different for dinner tonight, and Alex wasn't hungry because he had eaten like a late brunch, so well, not too late, but he wasn't hungry. So I went to one of my favorite places in Indianapolis. I think there might be a couple of them in Ohio or Kentucky too, I'm not sure. But it's called Yats. And it's like Creole, food. And they have like red beans and rice and like drunken chicken, and it's so good. and they always have like 3 vegan, like they have a vegan etouffee, and they always have like vegan stuff. So I got a vegan white chili. Oh my god, it was so good. And then they have like a whole length of like French bread that they cut in half, and they baste it with like this butter sauce. It's so good. So I got that with extra bread, and then I got a piece of peanut butter pie. Yeah, ask me how that diet's going. And the peanut butter pie was so, oh my god, it was so good. So I came home, and then I got home. When I got home, Alex was like, well, I am hungry now. But he doesn't like, we used to go eat like Yats all the time. He always would get, they have this one called Alex's Chicken. He would get Alex's Chicken. I used to always get drunken chicken before. It was so good. If you ever, the only thing is that right now, because of, like you can't sit in the restaurant. You can only do carry out or like curbside service. So you can't sit in there. I mean, it's just a little like, well, there's a couple of them around town. And I think there's probably 5 or 6 in Indianapolis. And the one I go to is this one off 96th Street. And they don't have the Andrews Sisters and Guy Lombardo singing Winter Wonderland. Oh my god. They don't have any chairs in there, and they don't have a lot of their stuff up. Usually they have like 20 different kinds or more of hot sauce and hot peppers and stuff like that, you know, or powder. And I love this one called Crystals. If you're from the South, you probably know what it is, but they didn't have any of them out today. So Alex has a couple hot sauces, and so he usually uses sriracha, but he has another one, and I used that today when I got home. There were actually quite a few people in there getting food. I was kind of surprised, but it was so delicious. And so I was watching the second half of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. And Alex, then when he came in, he was like, because he was changing upstairs when I came in, and he was, no, he was in the kitchen. He went up and changed afterwards. He was like, I am hungry. And I was like, well, why didn't you want something from Yats? So we used to go to Yats literally like 3 or 4 times a week. This is what I was going to say. And he kind of like, I guess, ate it so much that he just like really doesn't like it anymore. Like whenever I mention Yats, he's always just like, no, I'm not in the mood for Yats. So anyway, but we used to go there and eat all the time because it's super cheap too, is the thing. Like everything I got today came to like 12 bucks. Like a huge portion of vegan white chili, and then like 4 pieces of huge bread, and then and I got a drink too. I got a Sierra Mist. The cups are really small though. That's one thing that always bothers me. But so he was making grilled cheeses in the microwave because he didn't want to like do it on the stove, and he usually breaks out the George Foreman grill. He has like a special way he does it in the toaster. He like toasts bread, and then he puts cheese on it, and then he puts it in the microwave. So he was doing that, and then he had like mixed up, like he opened a container. He had bought some that, he loves that supremely spicy, that Saba supremely spicy hummus, and so he was eating some of that. And so he sat in there with me while I was watching he had already watched the first episode, and I said, have you seen the second episode? And he was like, no, of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. So he was like, do you want to watch it? And I was like, yeah. So we sat down there and we watched that. And then, I was texting Tanya, and I thought she might want to go get a fountain pop. And it was early. It was like 7:30 or something. And she and her husband were like they were going to rent a movie or 2 or something. She wanted to see this new movie with, I can't remember what it's called. It was the movie that, I think it's with Russell Crowe. It was the movie that Sarah wanted to watch this summer, but you couldn't rent it yet. It was about the truck driver that she doesn't say like, excuse me to, and then he like follows her all over the place. Do you know what movie I'm talking about? Anyway, it's one word and it starts with an I, and it's like Intense or something like that. But anyway, it looks really good. So they were gonna watch that tonight, and she was tired, and she was like, I don't really want to go anywhere. So she's like, we're just gonna watch movies. So I talked to her for a little bit, and then I need to get gas. I'm like so low on gas right now. I'm like down to like an eighth of a tank. So anyway, I'm like trying to think of like which way would be the smartest for me to go to get gas. Because I don't want to get out unless it's covered. Because it's pouring down rain. It's cold. So then Alex and I just sat there forever and sent each other back and forth TikToks. Isn't that so silly? We do that all the time. I mean, literally, it was like, we were like downstairs, and then we moved upstairs. He moved upstairs. That's when he went upstairs, I think, to change. Or maybe he had changed before, I don't know. But that was, then I was downstairs and he was upstairs. Oh, then he wanted to watch Bly Manor. Okay, so he watched like the last 3 episodes of Bly Manor while I was like in and out of sleep, falling asleep. I laid down at like, from like 11 and set my alarm for like 12:30. And he was watching Bly Manor. I literally sat up for like the last 20 minutes of it and bawled my eyes out. I don't even think I cried the first time I watched it. And I said to him, I turned to him and I said, did you, because he really liked it. And I said, don't you think it's such a beautiful love story? I don't know why I was crying so bad. I don't know what happened. So anyway, but he really liked it. We were teasing each other and stuff earlier. And we had a fun night. The dogs were being silly in the bed, and Tucker has this one toy. Well, he has like 15 of them. They're those lamb chop, you know, things, but he has them in all different sizes, and some of them have Halloween hats, and some of them have Christmas bows, and so they're all called Lady. Okay, that's what we call them. And I'm like, but like some of them have like there was the original Lady, but we have her like tied up with a ribbon with Otis the dog, because those were Pee-Pee's toys. And Alex wanted them tied up and like kept separate. So that was Lady number 1. And then there was Fake Lady, which was just this, somebody I think had left it at the kennel and they didn't want it anymore or something. It was like brand new. And so Tanya was like, do you want this? Because it's the same thing that, like, you know, Pee-Pee and Tucker, like, this was back when Tucker was, or Pee-Pee was still alive. And I was like, yeah, sure. So I brought it home, and they just could not stand her. They were like, they would not pay her any attention. They knew she was Fake Lady. They didn't like her. They thought she was phony and fake. But then we got like a third Lady. I don't know where we got the third Lady. I think Alex bought the Lady for Boo and Tucker for their most recent birthday. So we have Fake Lady that they don't pay any attention to whatsoever. Well, Boo Radley doesn't play with toys either. He doesn't understand it. Like, he doesn't, like, I don't think he really understands the purpose of toys. He doesn't get it. He's never played with a toy. And, like, if you throw a ball, he just kind of looks at it, like, what am I supposed to do with that? Tucker will chase after it. Tucker plays with the toys. He chews up the stuffing, you know, and takes the things out of the squeakers out of the middle of it and everything like that. So, the third Lady, Tucker does like, and he's been chewing on her. But then I got him some little ladies. I call them all his friends. I'm like, do you want me to go get your friends? Because he's got a chair full of friends. And he always just gives me this goofy grin with his teeth. He's like, like, where's my friends? And his little crocheted blankets. He loves his crocheted blankets. But now we put him on the chair because Alex has to have the bed look perfect every day with the throw pillows. And God forbid we have the crocheted blankets on the end of that, because that just does not go with the aesthetic. So we have to put the blankets over there. And then when we're all in bed at night, when Tucker and all of us are in bed, then it's okay for the crocheted blankets and the friends to be up. You know what I mean? So anyway, but he has, so I got him the other night when I was at the Meijer with Tanya. I got him, what's it called? Why can't I think of what they're called? They have the real long necks. Are they used? Is that what they're called? I don't think so. Do you know what I'm talking about? And they like chew sideways. They're like, they eat like that, and they're always at the zoo. But anyway, it's a Christmas one. They kind of resemble camels, but they're not camels. They have long necks. Do you guys know, what's the animal? Why can't I think of it right now? I'm losing my mind. But anyway, Tucker loves him. And it's one ear. It's so funny because there's one ear. The ears are kind of like curled in. And there's like this one ear, and Tucker just sits there and he goes like this for like literally hours. He just licks this one ear over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And I said something to Alex because there was like fuzz in the ear. And I said something I said to Alex, I go, why do you think he does that? And he goes, I think it feels good on his tongue. And then, because he licks everything, all his toys, then you got Boo Radley. And Boo Radley is just like this. He just does it because Tucker does it, and I don't think he really has any clue why he's doing it. I don't think he has any idea what he's sticking his tongue out for. I don't think he even knows what he's doing. But it's really sweet because sometimes if you're sitting there, like all of a sudden, Boo Radley will just start licking your hand, or he'll come up and just like lick the side of your face. He's real sweet like that. He does understand he gets kisses. He's a real sweet little boy. They're so good. We needed to get Boo Radley's face trimmed, but now I kind of like it. That it looks kind of like looks like a lion a little bit. It's kind of funny. And now that they're growing out a little bit, they're so soft. They're so sweet. So anyway, then Alex watched Bly Manor, and then he like turned off all the lights and fell asleep. So we have the Google lights now in our bedroom because Alex got those what do you call it? Those light bulbs, you know, that turn the different colors and stuff. But then you have to hook them up to your Google Home. Which then Tanya ordered them off of Amazon and she couldn't figure them out. She and Eric were trying to do them for their bedroom because she wanted them. She couldn't figure them out. I don't know. Alex hooked them up for our bedroom. It is kind of cool. But you turn your lights on and off with your phone and stuff. Do you guys think any of you out there do this? It's cool. I mean, you can have it you can have the lights be any color you want it to be. I mean, I would truly give these. I don't have any clue how he set them up. I don't know how difficult they are. I mean, Alex is not the most technological person in the world, but he's not the least technological either. I mean, he can figure stuff out. He's a lot smarter with it than I am. So, I mean, I would have to say that it's probably like, I mean, if he were sitting here, he'd probably be like, I just follow directions. It wasn't that hard. Which to me equals it would be incredibly difficult and I would never be able to figure it out. But anyway, it is cool. I mean, you turn your lights off and on, and you can like turn on how bright they are, and you can like adjust. Like with ours, it's like we have one lamp on and one lamp off if we want to. So, but he just like shuts the lights off when he's ready to go to bed. I'm like, okay. Well, I already have my lamp off, so because when I came upstairs, he had them like on green. He read some article that green helps you sleep or something, or gets you relaxed. So he's been liking the green lights on a lot. I would think it would be blue, but he likes the green lights. So whatever, the green lights are cool too. And that was our evening. Like, it was just, I said to him when we were sitting there, like, and it was like 7 o'clock and we're like finishing up the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. I said to him, I said, our life has changed a lot from back in the day when we were out till 4 o'clock in the morning, going out to bars and then going to eat at Steak and Shake, coming home, being romantical, sleeping in, and doing the whole thing over the next day. I mean, I don't really know how I did it back in the day. I was, the other night I was watching old Geraldo clips of the Club Kids, you know, Michael Alig and Michael Alig. Is it Alig or Alig? I think it's I used to always, it stopped. I think it's Michael Alick, but anyway, I was watching this Geraldo, like, with all of them on there. I've watched it a million times. Like, I've watched the Geraldos, the, Joan Rivers had him on one time, I think, and Donahue. I've watched, and Geraldo had him on a couple times. There's one with, like, RuPaul, but Michael Alick is, like, in all of, Michael Alick is, like, in all of them because he, like, you know, he's the one that they wrote, that James St. James wrote the book Party Monster about, that Macaulay Culkin played him and the thing, and he was kind of like, they call him the Pied Piper of the club kid scene and all this kind of stuff. But, like, if you followed all of that, like, I was kind of weirdly obsessed with it at the time. Like, my roommate and I, she and I, like, wanted to go to New York City and be club kids. We, like, watched all of that stuff. And, like, we watched the whole thing, like, unfold. With, like, the murder of that Angel guy and everything. Like, I can remember all of that in the news, but, or all that, talking about it, and then being on the talk shows and stuff. But there was, like, a lot of famous, like, club kids that, like, grew out of that and became, like, you know, there's, like, Amanda Lepore is, like, super famous today. And there's just, like, a lot of people that came from that scene that are super famous. But there's this one that he was the door guy at Limelight, Kenny, and I was reading this article while I was watching it. I was watching it real late at night on my iPad, and I was reading this article about, like, where are the club kids now, like, what happened to them, and, like, the most famous ones, and most of them really haven't done a whole lot, if you want to know the God's honest truth, like, not really anything, because they're so, like, when you watch them on the show, they're, like, so entitled. They're like, well, I'm gonna have, like, you know, this huge music career, fashion career, and they're, like, not doing anything today, which is kind of sad, honestly. But I think part of it too is, like, when you watch them, like, Geraldo really, like, targets in on, like, drugs being a huge part of that scene, which is interesting because when I would have been watching it, I think, like, I would have been sober at that point when she and I would have watched it. We were friends and roommates before I got sober and after, but I think that was when we would have been watching that, I think. Maybe not. Maybe it was before and after a little bit in there. I don't know. But anyway, it's so weird to think that he's from my home state. He's from Michael Alick is from South Bend, Indiana, up north. They call it the region. Because it's like the north region of Indiana. But this Kenny guy, who was like the doorman at Limelight, he was like so into the scene. And I was reading this, like, they had some quote from him, and he was like, the last time he went out was like in 2013, and he was like, you couldn't pay me to go out to a nightclub now. And I'm like, you know, it's so funny. I think that's part of it. Although my husband went out early too. I mean, he went out like real young, and I did too, you know, and I had a fake ID and all that kind of stuff. But, like, I was even, to be honest with you, kind of burnt out with going out by 21. Like, I just can remember, well, my scene at 21 looked a lot different, though, than, like, later. I just was burnt out on it. It was boring. I knew everybody. And I mean, Indianapolis is not a huge city, you know, and it's like, and really it was just so much about drinking to me at that point. And it was really about just going out to drink. And, but then I got sober, and I didn't go out for a long time. I mean, like, the thing is, I don't think I went out actually to any kind of bar. I honestly don't know when. Like, I mean, maybe here and there, you know, like, just to step in for, like, a little bit, but, like, not, like, to go out. Like, I don't remember doing that. And if I did, I went with sober people. So, I don't remember like regularly going out again until well, my first boyfriend and my roommate and I, we would go out sometimes, but really not a whole lot even though. You know, we all like, I was working and then I got in my master's program, so I was working and in graduate school, and then she was working 2 jobs. She worked for Gold's Gym and she worked for like the phone company or GTE or something, I can't remember. And then he worked for this music store in the mall. It was called like LTE or something. I can't remember. It was like initials, and it was like stood for like that music store or something. I can't remember what it's called. But anyway, and then he also did delivered room service at the Marriott. Oh my God, he would bring home all of these desserts. It was so fantastic. But then that kind of ended in a weird way because he had like this stalker. I've told this whole story on here, and I don't feel like honestly telling it tonight, but he ended up having this stalker. That was like probably one of the weirdest things that's ever happened to me in my entire life. It was just because it was sad too. It was just like so sad. So my first boyfriend, I'm not gonna tell the whole story, but he had a stalker that he worked with. The guy like worked in the kitchen and he worked in, it was at the Marriott. And it was at this big Marriott that we have on the north side of Indianapolis. I think they're now, some of them are residences. Maybe it's a different hotel. But he had this guy that like he worked with. And this guy was from Mexico and he didn't speak any English. Hardly. And he was like obsessed with my boyfriend. And like they didn't talk, like they didn't know each other and stuff. And then like he would be like parked outside of our house and stuff, or our apartment. And like one night we were sitting there watching a movie and all the lights were off, and we saw someone like looking in my boyfriend's like car with like a pin light. And all this weird stuff happened. It just like was so freaky. And then my mom was like leaving notes on our door, like post-it notes and stuff. And she would be like, why didn't you call me? And I'd be like, what are you talking about? I guess I am telling the story now. And like I said, I didn't feel like telling it. But I was like, what do you mean? And she was like, why are you not returning my phone calls? I left you like a note. I left you 2 notes this week or something, she'd say. And I'd say, Mom, I didn't get any notes. And she was like, did he not give you the notes? And my first boyfriend was a little absent-minded. So I kind of thought that, you know, like, maybe he got it and forgot to tell me. And, but that wasn't it. And it just, a lot of weird stuff happened. And then they like caught him trying to get into our apartment or something. And then I had to go, like they called me at work. And I had to like leave. I was like in a group, and my supervisor came to the door and she was like, can you come here? And she was like, your office manager, or she was like, your apartment manager is on the phone. And she's like, there's something wrong with your apartment? And I was like, oh, okay. And she's like, I think you need to go and take care of it. So she was like, she went in and ran the group, but, or I think I went and got on the phone with him, and then I was like, I have to go take care of this. So like they had to call the police. So he tried to leave, and the police, like, there were 2 exits in our apartment. It's actually, the apartment's right up here. And, you can do a little drive-by, my old apartment, you want to see? So, he was trying to exit out of the apartment and, like, be real, like, you know, nonchalant about it. Like, real, like, who me kind of deal. And, like, the police, like, got him, and then they, like, one parked in front of him and the other parked behind him, and he couldn't go. So when I got there, oh, this was one of the things. We would, like, take our trash, and we would, like, bag it up and put it outside the door. Like when we had enough trash, which we didn't, like, it wouldn't be, like, a huge accumulated trash, because there was, like, 1 trash dumpster in the entire neighborhood that you would go and, like, so you could go 7 days a week and 5 times a day if you wanted and throw trash in there. because it wasn't like, it was like one of those, like, you know, it pushed all the trash. There wasn't a trash day. It was like, you know, it was just like a big dumpster that you pushed it into, and then it crushed it all together. What are they building here? Is this a grocery store? What is this? This used to be a church. Does it say? Do we even know? I want to know what it's going to be. But anyway, so we would put out like a little bag, like of trash, you know, like a kitchen bag, and then one of us would take it on our way to work or whatever to, this was when he and I lived together alone. This was after we moved out from my roommate. So this was my second apartment. I had 3 apartments in the same complex. The first one I lived in with my boyfriend and my roommate. The second one, it was just my boyfriend. And then the third one was my last boyfriend, and I lived in it together. All in the same apartment complex. I love this apartment complex so much. I had a great pool and stuff. But anyway, so like we were putting trash outside. We put it outside the front door, and just like one of us would take it the next day. And we were just assuming that the other person was taking it, and he was taking our trash and going through it, okay? So they like pulled him over, and then they asked to like search his car, and he like let him or something. He had taken like these notes of my mom's and put them in Ziploc bags, and notes we had written each other, and he had like taped them together and like put them in like Ziploc bags. It was so creepy scary. You guys, I can't even begin to tell you how scary it was. So then I think the office, oh my God, look, there's like 4 deer over there in the yard. Look at that. Can you see? They're all running away. Hey guys. Do you see this? Hi. So pretty. They're just standing there looking at me. They're so cute. Anyway. So I think the apartment pressed charges, like breaking and entering charges. I think it wasn't up to us. I can't remember. I honestly, I think like maybe they asked us if we wanted to press charges, and I think we did. And then they said that we also needed to file a restraining order. So we filed a restraining order, and I can remember, like, I was like, before we got to this court thing, I was like, and we need to do this, and we need to do that, and blah, 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 whatever. Oh, well, there's this kind of funny story in here between this, but like, when he was like looking into the car at that time, like this was right when it started. It was like a summer night, and we had like the window open in the corner, and it was like the window was behind the TV, so we're watching the TV, and my boyfriend's car was parked like right there. So if you were looking inside the apartment, it would look pitch black, right? So we could see somebody looking in there with a pen light, but we couldn't see who it was. And so I completely freaked out, and we called the police. And then there was like a window, like our door was here, and then there was like a window on the other side that you could like look out, but you couldn't like see who was standing there. You could just like see the ground. And so when the police were like on their way there, I told my ex, I was like, and when they get, I'm gonna let blah, 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 blah. I was like freaking out, and I was like, and I'm gonna tell him this, and I'm gonna go off on about this guy that was looking in the car, right? And then the police officer rings the doorbell, and I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I was like so scared. So anyway, basically meaning that I'm all bark. But before we got to the courtroom, I was like, and I'm gonna tell you something else, and blah, 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 and this freak this, and I'm gonna tell, you know, and all this kind of stuff, and whatever. And then we get there. It was so sad, you guys. I to this day, like, I don't really understand it. The whole thing was, like, weird because it was, like, more than just, like, this dude, like, wanted to have sex with my boyfriend. It was, like, he was obsessed with him. It was weird. It was, like it wasn't, like, it didn't seem like a physical attraction kind of deal. It felt like, I don't know, like, obsession. And we go into this courtroom, and he brought his wife and kids, little kids with him. And we're like on one side and he's on like the other. And like, I think the judge was just as shocked as we were. And his wife and kids didn't speak any English whatsoever. Oh, they have gates here now to get into this apartment? What? That's nice. But they're just open. Oh, it's for space to park. So this is where I used to live. He's cute. Here, I'll show you. Yeah, this is my very first one up here. Second floor. Right there. That window up there by that light was my roommate's bedroom, and back there was our living room. And then I'll go around and I will show you the you can see the living room and then our bedroom. You guys are like, this is so boring. But anyway, they granted us a restraining order, and then like I can remember like a year later or something, or 18 months, however long it lasts, it like expired. And he wasn't working there anymore. I think the Marriott fired him because of all of it. And then he was like, I was like, are we gonna keep it up? And I think we got another restraining order. I can't remember. Anyway, there it is. There's my old bedroom up there, and that was that one in the corner. That was us. Looks empty right now, actually. And then, literally 2 blocks over. This is so weird, I'm telling this story, and this is like literally I'm right here. So, my apartment was that one on the corner right there. See it on the corner? Right there. And where that car is where you can see the door and everything, is where my ex's car was parked. Is that not so freaky? And then the last apartment that I lived in, this is when I was with my ex, and then when we broke up, this was also like, I was here for the first, I don't know how long I kept it. 3 or 4 months. While Alex and I were together. God, I hated my roommate that lived down here. She was so rude, or not roommate, neighbor. That was us right up there. That was the guest bedroom. And then here's the pool over here. And we were on this lake. So like we looked out over this lake right here. Yeah. There it is, second story up there. That was our living room. And then can you see? There's a lake right there. That was our view. We loved it. I would sit on my patio out there and drink coffee. God, it seems like a million years ago I lived here. It seems so weird. It really does seem like a million years I lived. I guess, I mean, it was 12 years ago. It seems so strange. You know, sometimes when you're telling stories, it's like, I was thinking about this earlier. I was thinking about like, I have told so many of the same stories on this channel. But like, there's a lot of stories that like I haven't told in a long time. They have all kinds of plants on their patio, my God. But I was thinking about like, there's a lot of stories that I haven't told in a really long time on here. I don't even know which ones are which, you know what I mean? And there's the office right there if you want to see what the office looks like. This is called the Sanctuary now. I love it in here. I think it's so pretty. I always tell people to look at these apartments when they're telling me that they're looking for an apartment. I sometimes miss living in an apartment. I mean, the thing that's nice about living in an apartment is maintenance, first of all. You know, they come in like, I was going to show you guys the dumpster. Do you even care? Do you want to see it? You're like, no. But what's really weird is right here, literally right here, is where the cops were with this guy. And then he was trying to get out this way. Go around the speed bump. Back here is the dumpster, see? You'd have to drive up, walk up there. I can remember walking it up there at night. I was so scared. You walk it up there, that's a good one, those big questions. But then you can go out the other way, but anyway. You know, I mean, there are some real perks to living in an apartment. It's like, well, first, I always felt real safe living in an apartment. I mean, I feel the same way in our condo, but our condo is kind of very similar to, where am I going? Okay. Our condo is very similar to living in an apartment because, I mean, we have like our neighbors on either side that we share a wall with. So it feels very similar to that. And then, the thing I miss is like when something like breaks, you just call maintenance and they come and fix it like that, you know? And in here, they were like right on top of it, but my rent was expensive in here. But they were like right on top of it. So if you needed something fixed, like they came and fixed it right away. I miss that. I don't know. I do not miss like our neighbor, like we share a wall, but we really can't hear our neighbors. Like I can hear her when she's playing trumpet outside, stuff like that, right? But like I can't really hear my neighbors like I can't hear their TVs or them talking or them walking or anything. Like I can't hear their dogs barking. They can't hear our dogs barking. Like you can't really hear that kind of stuff. Like we've joked about it, but you really can't, you know? The only time like I ever freaked us out was when our electricity went out and our 100-year-old neighbor, Norma, she was like, Peter, Alex, can you guys hear me? We're like, Norma, meet us outside, sweetie. That was like the only time that we're like, how can she possibly like hear us? Like, but now that I know the setup of Laura's house, because I've been in it so many times, you know, like now I think she was probably, like, if you're outside, you can hear because of the windows, like, you know, I think she was outside. Whereas before, I always thought, like, our bedroom backed up against their bedroom, but that's not how it is. Like, our bedroom is actually over, kind of like Laura's kitchen, kind of. I don't even know how to explain it. But I'm dying for a Diet Coke. Might have to get a Diet Coke, yeah, at the gas station. So yeah, but the thing I don't miss about it is like, I feel like at least my money is going towards something now, you know? Like I feel like at least having equity in a house or a condo, you know? And that you can do whatever you want to do to it and that kind of stuff, you know? I mean, within limits, because the HOA will only allow you to do so many things. But I still feel like it's ours and we can do whatever we want to do with it. Isn't that the weirdest story? And then when I started dating Alex, we both had stalkers. And they weren't really, I don't know. They were both people that we had gone on dates with, so to speak. It just was weird. I would show up places and I would just be like, we would like be standing in a bar and I would get a look at my phone. I mean, this was literally like 6 months after the last time I had talked to him, and I would get a text and he'd be like, you look really hot tonight. And I'd be like, this is so weird. And then it would be something like one night I was walking to my car from the parking lot of this bar called the 10. And like I was like the only one. I think he texted me something like, you shouldn't, you shouldn't walk out to the parking lot by yourself or something. It was really scary. And then he came to my door one night. Well, so that would have been at my apartment. So, yeah, I guess I did keep my apartment until like maybe October or November of that year. And Alex and I started dating in August. So, yeah, probably 3 months. I probably stayed in that apartment after. I was month by month, I think. I know that. But anyway, he came to my door, just showed up, like wanting to make sure I was okay. And I was like, I'm going to ask you not to contact me anymore. And Alex's was very similar to that, but it was this guy that just would like, he just would, you could tell he was kind of a little obsessed with Alex. And he would just show up. Like, and he would just stand there. Like, he knew that we were dating and stuff, and it was really uncomfortable. Like, I think... I don't know. Like, I can just remember he, like, stood there. He wasn't super sharp. Like, he didn't get social clues and stuff, you know, that, like, Alex and I were dating and he shouldn't be standing right there. And, like, he would just come up and stand, and he'd be like, hi. And then he'd be like, hi, Peter, how are you? And I can remember, like, he friended me on Facebook, like, right after he met me, and he knew that Alex and I were dating, and he, like, liked every picture that I had on Facebook. It was just real uncomfortable stuff like that. It was weird. And we would be places, like, just really random places, and he would show up out of nowhere, too. Like restaurants and stuff. I actually haven't seen or heard from either one of them in, like, God, probably 11 years. Probably 12 years. I remember the thing that was weird about the guy with me was, like, he remembered me from when I was, like before I got sober. And he'd say, oh, you always had a boyfriend and I always wanted to be with you. And then he would, like, name drop all these people that I was friends with, which I was kind of, like, in this popular friend group, you know, when I was young, and that was important to me, which, whatever, what does that mean today, you know? And, but I was back then. I thought it meant something. And he would drop all these people, oh, you remember this person, you remember that person? I'd say, yeah. And, like, for the life of me, I couldn't remember him, like, at all. Like, literally at all, I could not remember him. And he'd always be like, oh, yeah, like, we always all hung out together. Now I remembered everybody else. I remember going over to chili dinners at all these drag queens' houses and hanging out and going out every night of the week, and every person's name he was dropping I remembered. But I could not remember him to save my life. Like, seriously. And I would say to him, I'd be like at the beginning, like when we first met and stuff, I remember him, like, hitting on me hard in this bar, and he looked so sexy that night. I remember he had on, like, this, like, crew neck sailor's sweater, and then, like, this kind of, like, beanie sailor hat, and, like, real scruffy, and I was like, and he was like, yeah, he was like, I've had such a crush on you for so long, and I was like, that was when I was single, before I met Alex, and, but, like, I was like, oh, well, maybe I just don't remember him. Maybe I was too drunk or something, you know? Because he was like, yeah, like, you were always so drunk, but I always wanted to date you, but you always had a boyfriend. And I was like, no, I didn't. He was like, yeah, you did. And that was the other weird thing. I was like, I didn't always. I guess maybe I kind of did, but not really. I don't know. There was, like, he said things that I just didn't remember to be true, and I couldn't remember him. And I was like, so, I don't know. It, like, kind of freaked me out. I think he's actually a very, very nice guy, probably. Like, he seems nice. I don't know, like, he just said some stuff that I was like, what is this about? I'm kind of, like, a little scared about all this. But anyway, I don't know. But that weirdest one was with my first ex-boyfriend. That was really weird, because that guy was, like, trying to get into our apartment and stuff. That's where you think, like, I don't know, maybe somebody would like really try to hurt you or something, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of scary. It's not kind of scary, it is scary. It's very scary. It was at the end and I didn't even realize I was that close to the end. And I just passed the gas station. Had I known that, I would have just ended the vlog. And anyway, when that stuff was happening, it was scary though, you know, like, I'm sure he's a very nice guy. The funny thing is, like, I don't remember the last time I've talked to him. It was probably within that first 3 months that Alex and I dated. But I've seen him, like, on Facebook in pictures with other people who I know and who are nice. So I'm sure he's a very nice person. You know, a lot of people just don't know. I mean, I'm socially awkward. I don't know how to talk to people. I don't know, maybe that's just what it was. But he was awfully forward for, Tanya and I were talking about this the other day. I just think that I am so traditional and maybe, like, more of a prude than, I mean, I'm not, like, in reality, but, like, when it comes to, like, I mean, what you do with your partner in your bedroom, I feel like it's your business. But I feel like we've become a society of, like, I don't know, just, like, saying the most vulgar things and stuff, you know? It's just, like, and I guess there was a period where I thought that stuff was kind of funny. But, like, as I get older, I'm kind of like, oh my, like, you know, I don't know. I mean, my best friend and I have been best friends for 23 years, okay? And, you know, other than us, like, referencing maybe, like, making love with our husbands or something like that, you know, it's like, we have never had the need to talk about real in-depth sexual stuff. Like, we've never found the need to, I'm not going to say that we haven't had sexual conversations about sexuality or sex in general or things like that. But, like, to have, like, a vulgar conversation, like, she and I have never had that. Like, never. And I have to say, with the majority of my friends, like, I might joke, you know, I might joke with one of my friends and be like, oh, you know, did you get some? Or, you know, something like that. Or like, oh, you must have had a good night last night because you seem pretty happy today. You know, something like that, okay? But to be, like, I don't know. Like, I just sometimes, like, I'm not offended by it, but it's honestly, it's kind of a turn off to me. I just don't really, well, first of all, I think there's something intriguing and mysterious about not playing all your cards, right? So when people talk about all of this stuff, to me, it's a little bit like, you're not leaving any of, like, the magic and the mystery. Do you know what I mean? Like, for anybody to find out. It's very much like Gypsy Rose Lee, like, leave something to the imagination, you know? We don't maybe need to know everything. But I don't know, maybe prude's not the right word. I'm definitely more traditional. I really believe, you know, in traditional, like, marriage values and things like that. But, so maybe prude's not the right word, and I feel like I'm pretty open-minded, you know, and sexually and talking about sexual stuff, but I just feel like maybe people just say too much. Like, I don't need to know everything, you know? And, I don't know. I don't feel judgmental at all. Like, I'm really open to, you know, I mean, I've had so many friends of mine that have I've had a lot of friends of mine actually in the sex industry, you know, and I feel really open-minded to that, but like I'm sitting here and I'm like trying to think about how to communicate it. Like even my friends, like, that were dancers or, you know, did other things. I've had a couple friends that, anyway, it doesn't matter. I don't, like, they didn't talk about it, like, all the time. It wasn't, like, their go-to conversation. And not because they were ashamed of it, and not because it was because it just was, like, not everything. I don't know. I just don't get me wrong. I love having a good conversation about, you know, sex and sexuality. But there just is something different to me. Like, I don't know. Maybe, like, I don't find some of the jokes funny anymore as I get older. I just kind of miss a more simple way of life, I guess. Crudeness. I guess that's maybe what I'm saying. Like, I'm not a prude, but I feel like there's a lot of crudeness when it comes to like, this is just me, but like, put a picture of a man like sitting there, like, you know, in some boxer shorts and like an open shirt with like a jacket and a tie. Like, that is sexier to me than just seeing somebody standing there with a heart on. Like, I don't, like, that's not sexy to me. And maybe it's because, like, I like the whole illusion or the whole imagination or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, but, like, that's not sexy to me, okay? Like, that's almost like, I don't know, like, that's just not that. I haven't looked, obviously, you know, but, like, that's just not as sexy to me as, like, the whole kind of, like, imagination and the fantasy and all of that. And I think that's where sometimes maybe it seems to me like I'm a prude, but, like, I feel like we have lost the world of the fantasy, and we have become the world of the standing there with the heart on. Like, it's just not sexy. It just isn't, you know? It's like all of my girlfriends, like, when they're, like, single, it's like guys sending them dick pics, and they're like, and I don't know. Just don't send your face attached to it, because it'll haunt you down the road. How did I even get talking about this? You know, in all honesty, and like, this is way too much information, but just, you know, it's like I can have the conversations with people and I can be the freakiest person in my own bedroom. But, like, why do you need to tell people specifically what it is that you're doing all the time? Like, I don't understand that, you know? It's just like, I don't know. I don't know why I'm talking about it. Because it kind of intrigues me, honestly, you know? I don't know. I miss a classier, simpler time, I guess. The Christmas decorations are so pretty. I'm like really loving driving around and listening to Christmas music this year, you guys. I have to tell you. I'm like obsessed with it. Although this one right here is my least favorite Christmas song of life, and it is the Chipmunk song. I hate the Chipmunk song. Is this the All I Want? No. Well, I don't know what song that is. Lisa Adeo. I'm talking about the All I Want for Christmas. No, that's not that one. But you know the one that the three chipmunks sing. Is that them? Is that their names? Chipmunks? Oh my god, I hate that song so much. But all of the rest of them I like. This channel actually plays some kind of like, not new age, but they play a lot of like instrumental music. I was thinking about it earlier because I was remembering like my records from when I was a kid. And my mom had like, I should bring them up. I've been like writing down ideas for a Peter Does Stuff video because I haven't done one in over a month. And I have like 5 ideas of different videos I want to do. So I may just be like, put them out. But anyway, we have like Perry Como, Joy to the World. I'll have to bring them out. Like I think I'm going to do that and ornaments for a Christmas video. Like my favorite Christmas things. And then like putting up my Christmas tree. That'll be another one. My husband went to Costco and he got 2 of these Christmas things. Did I tell you guys this? I think I did. Oh my God, he made me so happy. Now when I come up the walk and I go up the walk, I'm so happy every second. I'm like, oh my God, it looks so Christmassy. I love it so much. He made me so happy. And he surprised me with them. If you want to get them, they're at Costco. He told me they're $30 each. I was like, how much were they? It was like $30 each. I don't think it's bad. They're huge, and they have all this greenery and stuff in them. They're gorgeous. They're like little trees, but then they have other greenery and ribbons and stuff in them, and I'm going to put little, like, twinkle lights in there, so. All right, you guys, listen, I'm going to get off here now, and I'm going to go get gas and get a Diet Coke and listen to a little bit of my audiobook. I was actually going to maybe listen to a recovery lead, but, I hope you guys are having an amazing Sunday. It's my favorite day of the week. It's a good day to get started for the rest of the week. Well, obviously, it's the day before the week starts, if you start your day on Mondays. It's a good day to start your day, do something fun today, do something exciting, do something that will make yourself proud when you look back on it. If nobody else has told you this today, I love you. You can start your day over whenever you want. But say to yourself today, I'm going to be happy, joyous, and free, and I'm going to have an amazing day today. Most importantly, make sure that you reach out to somebody and let them know how much they mean to you today, whether you do that by text or phone call, or a phone call would be nice today. Call somebody up, and just say, hey, I just want to let you know I'm thinking of you. If you're not doing the Magic Rhonda Byrne book with us on the Peterisms channel, then think about just maybe making a gratitude list today. Gratitude list is a great way to start your week. Focus on all the things that you're grateful for in your life. Also, like I always say, practice random acts of kindness, but also, like I always say, don't tell anyone. And if you like this video vlog, please give it a big thumbs up. It would mean the world to me. And make sure that you are still subscribed to my channel. If you have already subscribed, thank you. And if you haven't, think about joining us over here, the OG Wolf Pack, that's just trying to get through life one day at a time, putting positivity, love, and kindness out there in the world. And like I always say, it says in the 4 agreements, lead with love. Well, I don't always say it, but sometimes. Like it says in the 4 agreements, lead with love. And let's put some positivity, love, kindness, compassion, goodness, understanding, forgiveness, and yes, I guess even tolerance out there into the world. Even though I don't love that word, I guess I will tolerate it. Anyway, I love you guys so much. And I hope you're having the most amazing Sunday ever, and you're relaxing and watching a really good show on Netflix or something like that. And my battery just started flashing. So that's a sign that, Peter, it's time for you to shut up. To shut your mouth and zip it. Shut your mouth and open your ears. And that's what I'm going to do right now. So I'm going to shut my mouth and open my ears. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Love ya!